Hi everyone, it's Jared Johnson here with Day Traders FX. I hope you guys are having a great week. We're coming into a big holiday week. Lots of time off and bank holidays and so on. So markets might be a little bit quiet, but let's talk about some of the setups that we have in the works for this week that we want to keep an eye on. Again, a lot of the major markets that we watch and follow are closed for a couple of days this week because of Christmas Eve, and then the weekend's not far after that. So there's only going to be a couple of, two or so trading days for the entire week. But we want to keep an eye on where everything's going and make sure that we're positioned and that we're updated on the positions that are making us some pretty fantastic money. One thing to keep in mind here, you can go to daytradersfx.com. You can get started with a free trial right here. We have some new exciting things coming at the beginning of the year, so I will keep you guys updated on all of that. But be ready for some of that. But daytradersfx.com, you can go right here to the blog as well. You'll be able to see a whole bunch of great things like our watch list from last week and some of these setups that we're looking for. So I hope to see you stop by the website, give us a look, let me know any questions, comments you have about details coming. Okay, so as far as this week goes, we've seen a little bit of news already on Monday. We saw earlier today, we saw trade balance for New Zealand came out a little bit better than expected. And then a little bit of bank holiday stuff for Japan. Then we've got some not much big news on Tuesday. Durable goods is always one to keep an eye on, and GDP numbers for the U.S. Definitely good to watch there. So there's some stuff coming out on Tuesday, and then pretty much Wednesday on the markets are who knows what's going to happen, but it's just tons of bank holidays and throughout most. We do have some Japanese news on Wednesday, and just a little bit of U.S. news, but I pretty much expect things to be a little bit slow this week. Again, Christmas and New Year's, things probably are going to be a little on the low liquidity side, so we want to keep an eye on that. I just wanted to update real quick from our webinar last week. We talked about the fact that we wanted to be short euro dollar as we got below 123.50-60 area. You can see that positions nicely over 100 pips in profit and holding. If you're not in the euro dollar yet, I still think we're going to get a really nice push down into 120. We're sitting here about 122, just a little above 12200, and the euro is just hanging in there and trying to make that last push for the 120 level. I think we're going to get there. I don't think we're going to have too much trouble, but again, with low liquidity and low volume this week, who knows what we'll see. If we get a little bit of a push back up towards this weekly pivot right here, around 123.30-40 area, that would be a great area to short the euro dollar one more time. So if it gets up around that same area that we shorted it, which was 123.50, then look to short that again. Feel free to put a pending order around that 123.40 area to short euro dollar and get that last move down into 121/120.50 and 120. So nice little move there. We're in some nice profit. We've made some good money on the euro dollar, and we're going to continue riding this one for just a bit longer. So that's a great little trade. Pound dollar is an interesting one. We haven't done a lot with pound dollar. If you remember last week, we talked about the pound dollar being a good opportunity once it breaks out, and it hasn't broken out yet. In fact, this is a daily chart, and ever since the pound dollar came into this channel, which was right about November 13th or so, it's been in this channel and just been going totally sideways for nicely over a month now. So pound dollar above 157.50 is still a great opportunity to buy this up into 160. There's a couple hundred pips there. But down into 155, or down through 155.50, and you can see that we're sitting at 155.80 just about. If we get through 155.50, then the pound dollar should be a great short opportunity, at least into 154.50, so at least a quick 100 pips, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. There's a lot of missed pivots up above, but I think the pound dollar could have a little bit more of a slide in it. So again, a break of 155.50 should continue pushing this pair down quite a bit and pretty nicely. So I'm pretty excited about getting into something there. So long above 157.50, short below 155.50. If this gives us a nice big rejection candle, like a huge hammer here, I would consider putting a small buy position on against 155.50. But I'm not super ready just yet to jump in headfirst into dollar weakness because of something we're going to look at in just a moment. Now, there's some little tiny things going on Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss franc, Aussie yen, some of those pairs, but they're not making our radar just yet, and I think they'll still be ready for us next week, so I'm not going to talk about those. I will cover the fact that we are now officially in Aussie New Zealand. Remember, we talked about this Aussie New Zealand trade and how this is kind of a big obvious trade, but Australia and New Zealand stand fairly toe to toe when it comes to monetary policy and kind of central bank situations. Both are kind of infamous for weakening their currencies during central bank reports and so on, but nobody seems too willing or pushing for a cut in interest rates yet. And so it's just going to kind of be a battle as far as that goes. We usually want to trade in the direction of currency weakness that has central bank easing backing that. So if a central bank for a given country is talking about cutting rates or keeping rates as is for a long period of time, that's usually currency weakness for that individual currency. And we don't really have much of that going on with the Aussie or the New Zealand pairs. Nobody is really, they both talk about exchange rates being a little bit high. Both have kept rates unchanged. So it's an obvious trade. There's a huge double bottom here. We're going to cover our position if it breaks this 104 kind of 75 area. If it breaks out, we're going to start looking for opportunities to cover this, but we're going to give it enough room to wiggle. So 10400 is probably going to be our spot to start covering that position, but we're in long and we're looking to trade this thing nicely up into some of those upper targets there. So Aussie New Zealand is a very, very excellent trade that I'm loving a lot. We've also been in the dollar yen, and the dollar yen is just playing out like crazy. Just loving, we had that little trend line break, and this thing has just been creeping up ever since. You remember last week I said anything below 11700 is good for me. And it did get below 11700. It got nicely below 11700. Here's 11700 right here, and it dipped down for several hours down into 115, about 60, 70 area. But then there it is, up 300 pips from that 117. We even took an additional entry at 117.75 with the news a couple of days ago, the FOMC news. So you can see that that was this guy right here. And so there is even an additional position right there with an entry around 117.80, and you can see that that has just played out very nice. So we had a profit target of 120, so that was a nice 220 plus pip profit target. So very, very nice little trade that played out very excellently. One of the reasons that I'm not totally ready for dollar weakness yet is because we've seen a pretty big slide in gold, especially today. It's not that uncommon to have kind of a low liquidity day and just have, you know, a random something move a lot. Gold happened to be that random something. It broke these lows of Friday and so on. And it ran down a lot, like 200 pips in a fairly short amount of time, actually more than 200 pips, and has just really dipped down. And it's made a nice move below 1180. Remember, 1180 was our big level. We were curious if gold was going to be making an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Looked very, very likely if it broke above about 1230. $1,230, which it had not, and that head is still in place. That shoulder, everything's looking good, and I think that this is possibly going to run down to double bottom and possibly break that head and totally invalidate this head and shoulders pattern. So I'm still holding my bigger target for gold is 1,088, which isn't that far away. Still another $100 or so to go in gold, but I think we're going to get there, and I think we could even get down to the $1,000 mark. So that's looking pretty good. We'll just kind of have to keep a really close ear to the ground on what the Fed is doing and keep an eye on what they're talking about and looking to implement. But for the moment, we're still looking to sell rallies on euro dollar. We're looking to potentially buy a dip if this support holds on pound dollar. Otherwise, we're selling breaks or buying breaks. Aussie New Zealand, we're already in this and we're looking to trade that on up. Dollar yen, we just got out. We'll be looking for re-entries on this one. And gold's been making a nice little run there, which could give us some good trading opportunities if it can finally hold below 1180. It had a pretty tough time last time it got below 1180. We got below here, came back up, got below, came back up, and here we are below again. And I think this might be the time that sticks. So everything's looking good. We've got some great trades coming up, and these are going to be some of my favorites that I'll be watching this week as things move along. So very, very good stuff. Thank you, everyone. Questions, comments, let me know, and I will get these details posted shortly. Thanks, guys. Have a great week and a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.